Okay, I've got a 2017 Audi Q7 with the tow package. My plan today is to find the brake controller plug underneath the dash and try to pull it down so eventually when I get my brake controller I can plug it in. So I'm going to remove the fuse panel here, which is pretty straightforward. Okay, so I removed the fuse box cover. There's the fuses. And I think I see the brake controller connector. That's it right there that I'm shining on it. It's got the probably a little fuzzy. That's it right there. The fuzzy thing with the fuzzy cover on it. And so my intent is, can I get that and pull it maybe down through the steering wheel column area and not have to remove any panels. Okay, so I know the brake controller connector is down inside there, and now I've got to figure out how to take the bottom out here. What I think, there's a 8mm screw there, and the back here is pretty flimsy and not connected real well. It pulls down real easy. There's a gray bracket that kind of sticks out there, and it looks like the molding just kind of slides on that. So what I'm thinking is, if I undo this one screw here, I might be able to slide this whole thing out, and then I can get access to the brake control pigtail. Alright, so I undid that one plug below here, or that one screw below here, and then I undid this one right here, and then that popped the dash down far enough where I could actually reach my hands in there and get the brake control connector. Now I simply have to figure out how to feed it back down through the back of the dash down by the footwell. That's my next task. Okay, I fished a hanger through the bottom here. You can see there, bent it 90 degrees or 180 degrees back over this way, and so here's the end of the hanger here. Here's the brake controller. My intent now is to hook them up and just pull the brake controller back down so it comes out right there, which will be perfect for hooking it up to the brake controller. Okay, I've got the brake controller plug here. I've got my hanger tied around it here, and I've got my hanger right there. Now I'm going to see if I can pull it so it comes out about that location. It's kind of tight in there. I'm a little worried about that. I just don't know how I can get this half of the underdash off. I just don't know how to get the other half off, so that's why I'm kind of stuck with just pulling this side down. Otherwise, if I could take this whole thing off, I suspect it would be pretty easy. But again, I'm not real comfortable with tearing dashes apart, so I'm not taking this side apart over here. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I had success. It was pretty easy. I just kind of had to pull and then keep my hand up in here and guide it a little bit. I had to pull this covering back a little bit to allow it through that hole. But I suspect now I've got the trailer brake connector all there ready to go. My next step is to mount the brake controller somewhere and get it all hooked up. So this is phase one. I wanted to make sure I could get the brake controller pigtail connector out of the dash, and it looks like I did through pulling some of this apart. Now I got to put it back together. I don't have my brake controller yet. Again, my problem is I'm not real familiar with pulling dashes apart. So I suspect somebody out there could easily figure out how to get this half of the dash out. The whole thing would just come down then and probably be a lot easier, but I found just undoing this screw here, and the one underneath here gave me enough flexibility here to reach in there. My intent is to tap into the fuses here, run another wire, run those wires down there, and connect it all up to the brake controller. But at least I've got the pigtail down, exposed, and ready to be plugged in. And again, it was sitting right underneath, kind of hard to tell. Let's see here. It was sitting right underneath some of that equipment in there. Very easy to get to, very easy to see. Of course, I'm assuming this is the brake controller. If not, then, you know, I don't know what I just pulled out. All right, it's starting to put it together. I just lifted the dash back up and all connected in there real good. And everything looks pretty normal. I'm gonna put this screw back in and then put the screw in underneath here and put the fuse cover back on, and I should be done with this part of pulling the brake controller pigtail. All right, I'm starting to get it back together. I got both screws back on. For now, I just tuck the brake control pigtail right there up underneath. I'll leave it there until I get my brake controller and start the second part of hooking everything up. Put that screw back on right there. I never took that one off, so I don't know what that's for, but looking good so far. Okay, putting the fuse cover back on. Okay, that fits in there nice. All back and connected. Looking good. Good as new.